Hey. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Man, how are you guys doing today on this fine Saturday? It is Saturday again. Man, I am so so out of it. I was up way too late working on a lot of stuff, mostly this video and just trying to get things together. And everything's different for me. It might not look different for you, but everything is different. So just gonna bear with me. I ended up selling one of my monitors, so like this monitor's gone, and then I ended up turning this one from portrait mode back to horizontal mode, so it's different. So I have less screen real estate, and my orientation is different right now. So things that I am concerned with are right in front of me instead of off to the side. So, anyways, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. If you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you tuning in on this Saturday. It's a little bit different than all the rest of my content. It's kind of a open forum where we talk about things we're struggling with, things we're excited about, things we're interested in, all kind of related to tech. So if you have something you want to share, you should absolutely throw it in chat, because then I'll go from the top and work my way down and we'll talk about it. We'll chat about it. So yeah, I'm really curious what you guys are working on this weekend. As you can see, what I've been working on it was a long time. This has been a long time coming, this video that I just released. So this video that I just released, you guys have seen it. If not, you can check it out later or not check it at all, whatever. Whatever you want to do or not want to do. But the video that I was working on was just building this 3 cluster Intel NUC cluster, low power cluster, I should say. The brand doesn't matter all that much. I usually choose Intel NUCs. But anyways, so a mini cluster that's still powerful but yet doesn't use a lot of power. And so I've had this one kind of marinating for a while. I ended up buying, a server rack for it, so I could rack mount all 3 of these systems in a 1U rack. So it's super nice. So I could just put them all in there. It's got cable management built in, pull it out, it's really super accessible, and it just cuts down on just like clutter in my rack. And so I've had that in there for a while, and I know a lot of you probably seen it in my server rack, but I never circled back yet to actually, talk about how I'm going to use it. So that's what this video was about, just kind of walking through the hardware, how I have it set up, and getting a Kubernetes cluster on there. So I bet the people who clicked on that weren't expecting to get a quick lesson on Kubernetes. Maybe they were. Hopefully they were. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Anyways. In that video, I try to explain Kubernetes and how it works really quickly without going off in the weeds, which I tend to do. So anyway, so that's out there. I'm excited because that means now I'm on to the next, which is always a daunting task. Every Saturday, I'm so relieved that I got the video out in time, but at the same time, I just start thinking about the next 2 videos that I, usually have in flight, not to mention all the ones in my backlog, and then not to mention all the things that possibly come up throughout the next week or 2 while I'm creating this one. So anyways, if you have something you want to share, I'd love to know. Throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. There were some activities and some events right before I guess I unveiled the stream. I've been live for a little bit, so let's go through that and talk about those a little bit. I'll go back here. I'm going to go back a little bit because just because some of this happened right before the stream. Some was a little bit before. So Twitchy90, Max Payne Life, and Slavic Gecko, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, all you guys. Man, Xavius D, 17x. So I'm looking at a little bit different screen, so bear with me. Tier 1. I'm gonna go with 17-month streak. I'm guessing. I think it is. Xavius, dude, thank you so much. I have to I have unsub on my to-do list. I just can't seem to get to it, and I keep procrastinating. Oh well, Kappa. Yeah, I know. Hey, if you want to, it's totally fine. I know you're joking. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Or good to see your name in chat. Dude, Slavic Gecko, thank you. New sub, Prime sub. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. And then I'm going to go with Dr. Chaos. I like it. Dr. Chaos, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So yeah, like I said, I've been working on a ton of stuff. Like always, I think we're always busy. We're always working on stuff. Hey, Piece of Geek, dude, thank you so much. 100 bits. Yeah, I get to see the Mega Man and blast my eardrums out. How's it going, man? Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the 100 bits. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. But yeah, like I was mentioning, as you all do, we all have a ton of stuff going on, and I certainly do too. And I'm already on kind of to the next video. And by the way, I'm ripping apart almost my whole entire studio piece by piece shortly. I've been selling my monitors. I've sold 2 of 4, so I'm down to 2 monitors. And as soon as I get down to 1, then I'm gonna buy my new monitor and replace it. But yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, if you're wondering why the lights change, channel points. If you don't know what channel points are, you earn them automatically just by being here in chat, and you can change the lights in my room. I will say that those lower blue ones, I know what's going on, but it's kind of a tougher fix than I've been able to do. So anyways, the blue ones and the bottom won't change, everything else will. So as soon as I mention it, just make it all blue. I'm so beat. But I'm not going to talk about it because I'm like excited. My mind's excited, but my body's like exhausted. Pretty much means I'm getting old. I guess that's the definition of old, is that my mind is okay, but my body is tired. I don't know. My voice, I still have my 4 a.m. voice on right now. This is what it sounds like if I wake up in the middle of the night. So if I wake up in the middle of the night, this is what my voice sounds like. So anyways, I'll get past that because you guys don't want to hear about my ailments and how tired I am and stuff like that. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. Okay, so let's go into chat. Let's see who was here first. I know who was here first because I can see it in this chat window. Actually, this orientation is kind of nice. This is a little bit better than I'm used to. It's different for sure, but I kind of like how I have things laid out now. But pretty soon I'll have a new monitor in place. So anyways, Yakto is here first. How's it going, man? So there I was lurking on the chat pre-show. Yeah, man, good to see you. How's YWS? I'm gonna keep calling it YWS. He has a data center in his garage. He turned his garage into a data center and has a war room and everything. So how's it going, man? Good to see you. Xavier D, yeah, same here. Was in the kitchen making breakfast. Stretch Mernin. Mernin, how's it going? All right, let's get chat back up here now. Okay, here we go. Banana wave. I'm gonna start right here. Banana wave. How's it going, Ilu? Good to see you. Let's see. Chat's a little bit off. Let me see. Xavier's D. LOL. How's it going? Ilude. Banana wave over IP. I like it. BWOIP. I like it. Anything over IP. I like it. Banana wave over IP. How's it going? I like this one too. Coop control. Scale. Replicas to 100. The file of bananawave.yaml. Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. That's my kind of humor. Just checking for a cross-site banana wave injection attack. Everything seems secure there. I like it. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for testing out my banana injection. Banana injection is this is getting weird now. This is sounding weird. But my cross-site banana injection, I'm protecting against the cross-site banana injection. Okay, enough with bananas and injections, so let's keep going. Xavius, but did the Apple vendor attempt any social engineering hacks on us? I don't know. Maybe. Papaya Ping was the culprit. I have no idea what's going on. There's a whole bunch of talks about fruit and stuff like this, but I love it. Or the butcher, because he doesn't like fruit. All right, let's see. Let's go into here. I'm like one message off. I apologize. I kind of need to scoot this over. Like my it's like, when you have anyways, my rows on my thing are too far apart to where I can't tell what column things are in. This is a little bit better. Xavier D, did you sell your NetApp yet? What did you end up getting for it? No, I did not. Like I've had people that want to talk about it. It's pretty awesome because I have a NetApp disk shelf, right? And I want to get rid of it now because I have a Stornator, and I'm like, well, there's no point of having a JBOD and a Stornator both on at the same time when my Stornator can hold 15 drives, and I only ever put 6 drives anyways in my NetApp. So I have that, and then I thought, hey, I'm going to sell it. I thought it'd be an easy sell. And I thought it was. Maybe it's not priced right. But I'm selling my Net app with two of those special cables, 808 SPF something rather. PC Geek always remembers it, but I have no idea. Two of the cables and the HBA card all together, selling it. I said $400. I don't know if that's too much. Hey, Gentle Giant, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But I listed it for $400. I thought, well, it's pretty okay price. I mean, the cables are 20 to or 30 to $40 a piece. I have two of them. The HBA card that I have is 80 to $90. So I thought, well, yeah, and then around 250 for the dish shelf. Almost what I paid for it. So I thought, hey, all of that together, $400, and with a little bit of haggle room. No, but the funny thing is that a lot of people have been just like wanting to talk to me about it. It's pretty awesome. I think they know, like, hey, this is a fellow HomeLabber. So, and I mean, some people have noticed that it's me, only because when I list it on Facebook Marketplace, it's to my real Facebook profile, and in there you can see public posts of things I did that are related to my channel. Anyways, all that aside, even if they don't know it's me, the funny thing is like people want to talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, I used to have one of those, or I get messages that are like, yeah, I'd love one of those someday. I have my own JBot and I want to expand. Or other people are like, I have a NAS right now and I need to convince myself to get this. And it's funny, like a lot of people are just like, want to message me and talk about it, which is totally fine. Like, I love it. I love that there's, this kind of community around it where people feel comfortable enough to talk to someone who's selling something just to chat. And I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. So yeah, keep them coming. If you find my post and wanna message me on Facebook Marketplace, go for it. So wrong way, my dude. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So anyways, so no, I haven't sold it. I listed it for $400. We'll see. I only did it on Facebook Marketplace because it's easy, because it's super easy and it gets a lot of eyeballs on it. But I might list it on Craigslist tonight. We'll see. I think it's time to put it on Craigslist too. Usually I just go Facebook Marketplace because it's so easy. It's so easy to do it. And, most people, I don't want to say they're verified, but when you click on their profile like I had, and their profile was created, this year, and they just updated their profile pic 2 minutes ago to some random person, I know that's probably not a real human being. So, anyways, so it's nice for that. So anyways, long story short, didn't sell it yet. I want to sell it. It's still in my rack. Works perfect. If anyone's in the Twin Cities area and wants a dish shelf, mention code Techno Tim, and I'll give you a better deal than I'm listing it for right now. But has to be local though. So let's see. Sounds plausible. Yeah, I like it. Yo. Okay, Trevor. Sup, Tim? How's it going, Trevor? Oh, yeah, I knew a network thing was coming that I probably didn't understand. I'm planning a network expansion, going from a 27U rack to a 42U rack, and adding. Oh, I was almost through this whole message with fully understanding what you're talking about. And you're adding a SR Cool 7KRM. Oh, well, thanks for the context. A rack mount HVAC unit by Triplite. I've seen that. I think that's the one that Jeff from Craft Computing has in his rack. So pretty awesome. You're expanding. You're going from 27 to 42U. Been there. I went from 18 to 32. It's an inevitable force sometimes. And yeah, so you're getting a cooling unit. That is awesome. I've yet to do that. So I've yet to do that. Mine's in my basement. The most cooling it gets right now is a box fan, Minnesota weather, and a tiny port window that I can vent open. So it did okay last summer. We'll see this summer. And it did great all winter. Like the fans are barely even on. Like I love my server rack in the wintertime because it's like, it's so quiet. But I know this is the quiet before the storm when it starts blowing around 85 degree temperature, it can't cool off much more than that. So we'll see. But awesome. Glad you're expanding. Pretty cool. And I'm so glad I was able to understand everything in your message because you are on next level networking for me. So when you usually talk about networking stuff, I'm like, I wish I understood everything. But awesome. Good to see you. G'dated. How we all doing? I'm doing great. I said about 10 minutes ago I was pretty tired, but I'm already feeling great just from being able to talk and get my brain moving. I feel like I've just been doing social media all morning and writing blog posts and stuff like that. And I usually do that the night before, but I couldn't. I mean, I stopped at 2:30 and I was like, good enough for now. It's on YouTube. It's scheduled. If I die, you guys will see it. But there won't be any social media around it. But I was able to get it all out in time. Well, kind of on time is relevant. Kanoa. How's it going? Hello again. Good to see you. I'm back from last week. Trevor, I'll have the HVAC unit monitored by NetCool. Cool. So that cool. Yeah, cool. So that if it has a failing components or refrigerant runs low, it'll send an alarm to NetCool and it can take action on the alarm. That is awesome. That is awesome. I wish I had something like that. I mean, the closest it gets for me is I have this little temperature monitor in my server room, and I kind of put it in the top corner. It doesn't alert me. I should set up my alerts, but I think I'm going to do some automation this year with at least turning on the box fan. I mean, I'm talking rudimentary automation, but I do have a temperature sensor in there. I do have Home Assistant, and I have HomeKit, and then I do have extra plugs, smart plugs that I can hook up to, an old school box fan. Which I'm going to go off on a tangent in a minute, but I wish more devices were dumb. I know that sounds weird, and in 2023 to say I want dumb devices, but I 100% want dumb devices, and I want to make them smart with my own plugs, my own sensors, my own stuff. I don't know. For some reason, 90s, 2000s, everyone thought oh yeah, instead of having a physical button to turn something on, we'll give you this digital button that you have to press. So even after you plug it in, you still have to press a button to turn it on. I don't want any of that. I wish anybody making hardware right now, I don't know if it's a safety issue or not, but I wish box fans or my air purifier. Drives me crazy because I could totally automate my air purifier, but I can't because once I plug it in, I have to hit another button to turn it on. And anyways, kind of on a tangent, but that's why I love my old school box fan, because I can set it on level 3, plug the thing in, and it turns on. Why is that awesome? Because then I can add a smart switch to it, and then I can automate it. So anyways, I don't know if that's a safety feature or what, but whoever started putting, the on button, instead of a toggle or a real switch to turn something on, I got words for that. Just makes all the smart stuff so much harder. But I can't really complain too much because I think my air purifier has an RF and I have a broad link device here, so I can rig something else up. But at the same time, I wish that it has a physical button to say on low, so when I plug it in, it turns on low without me having to touch it again. And it's not because I'm lazy, it's because I want to automate stuff. Hey, if the air quality's bad, there's a fire next door, and there actually is. My neighbor has a little campfire going, which I don't mind. But, if my air quality sensor detects, hey, there's additional particles in the air, kick on the air purifier. Do that automatically. I don't want to hit buttons. I'm done pressing buttons in UIs, and I'm done pressing buttons in real life, I guess. I don't know. Dude, thank you so much, CBN Sandwich. Hey there, Swarm plus C-Advisor plus Prometheus plus Grafana, keeping me busy today. Dude, thank you so much. Tier 1, 11 months. Thanks so much, CBN Sandwich. Yeah, that does sound like it's going to keep you busy. Swarm plus C-Advisor plus Prometheus plus Grafana. You can make a career out of just Prometheus and Grafana, let alone getting a Swarm cluster up and with C-Advisor working. So, awesome. So, yeah, so anyways, I kind of went off on a tangent on that only because it was on my mind. But dude, thank you so much, CBN Sandwich. Thank you. I appreciate it. Xavier's D, good. Just having breakfast before I tear down my servers and play musical hardware, putting the H200E into IT mode and adding a 2.5 24-bay JBOD to my stack. Hey, I got a 24-bay JBOD. I got one. It's called a NetApp. I think you have 3 or 4 in your closet, I think, last time I talked to you, unless you got rid of them. But yeah, well, that's awesome. I was going to say the H200E, I'm not familiar with that. It's an HBA controller, but that's awesome that you could flash it and put it in IT mode. So pretty awesome. And then, yeah, 2.5s though. 2.5s, I like it. So your JBOD So you're just a bunch of disks. Array, your JBud, your dumb disk array, is 2.5. That's awesome. That's pretty interesting. That's awesome for a lot of reasons. For size, weight, power, but also for SSDs too. Maybe someday. Jay Greentree, hello. How's it going? Howdy, Jay. Let's see. Get-ated. I hope it's get-ated. And if it's not, don't tell me, because I like saying get-ated. It's not every now and then I can say a name or a word like that. Anyways, get-ated. Hey, Tim, wondering if you are using Harvester. Good question. It comes up every now and then. I tried to get PCIe NVMe at optimal speeds, like 500 megabytes per second versus 1900 megabytes per second. Proxmox has no issues with the same hardware. Is there a platform way too early in its life cycle? Have you had any issues with I/O performance? So do I have Harvester still? Yes, I do. Do I have it on a system that has NVMe's? I don't. And I haven't. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of disk performance with it. Like, I get it. Like, when I create virtual machines with Harvester, it is a little bit slow, but I don't know what normal slow is because it's on slower hardware. It's on my test system, my PC conversion. So, I don't know. It is pretty early. It is pretty early in its life cycle. I mean, yes, it went 1.0, I think, maybe a year ago, if that. But at the same time, this is new tech. This new bleeding tech. I think they're using VirtIO, which is new bleeding tech too. And so, yeah, it gets you might run into performance issues. And at the same time, like, it could be OS, it could be drivers, and it could be nothing to do with Harvester itself. So, because that operating system is whatever it is. It's whatever they chose. And I forget the one right off the top of my head. I'm sure it's SUSE or something like that. But I haven't noticed because mine's on older hardware, and when I spin up a virtual machine, I just expect on older hardware it's going to take a little bit longer. It's not to say you're not having an issue, and you're obviously able to do some performance testing, but I wish I had an answer for you. I wish I did. It is early though. It is early, and we'll see if this kind of tech is sticking around. But Getated, wish I had an answer for you. I mean, can you run some of your disk utilities, however you're measuring it on the OS? I assume that's how you did. And so it might not necessarily be, Harvester itself. It could be the operating system, which then boils down to probably drivers. So wish I had more info. Trevor, at this point, I'll be keeping my EQ PT in the hot garage, but I have cold air coming from the HVAC from the front of the rack being sucked in by EQPT and the hot air being pumped outside, as well as the air coming directly in from the back of the HVAC unit. Awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I wish I knew more about HVAC. Like, I kind of get it. The only thing I always wonder about too is with you pumping that air out, just pressure and physics. With you pumping that air out, it's going to be pulling in air from somewhere else. And I think you said, well, I don't know. I don't know. We're expecting to be pulling that air in from. So it's going to pull it in from the cracks of your house is basically what I'm saying. That's where it kind of gets if you don't recycle that air, if you're pumping it out, then you're creating negative pressure. That looks better. Negative pressure for things to then come inside, and I'm not an HVAC expert, but I kind of maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I have a feeling though, if you're going to be pumping that amount of air out of your house, it's got to come back in from somewhere else. But yeah, I love to see this when you have it finished up, because I might get to a point where I need something like that for sure. I might get to a point where I need something like that, and this summer will tell. I think I'm at the point now where I have a big rack. My rack is now enclosed. Like, there are so many things working against my rack right now, and so this summer is going to be a good test for the fans that are built in, for the box fan that I have on outside of my server room, the grow room, and then the window that I have in there. Not that advanced when it comes to HVAC in my house in general. Well, I mean, we have a boiler, so yeah, that's not that advanced. At the same time, we have a high velocity air system. But anyways, you'll have to let me know. I wonder if I should set up a probe dedicated to environmental alarms. If the alarm should just go on the same probe as all the other alarms for the HomeLab. Yeah, that's a good question too. I sprinkle a lot of devices. Well, I should say this. I have a lot of devices around my home that can measure both temperature and humidity around my home. Like, I have, whatever. I have these Broadlink devices. I have, Apple HomePods that can also measure it. They just turned it on via software, so it's pretty cool. And then I have some Philips devices that also have it built in, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, would be interesting to know. And yeah, if you're going to solve it for one room or one use case, why not just solve it for your whole house? Let's see, Cyber Knight, how's it going, man? Trying out Proxmox with iSCSI share. Seems faster than NFS. Not sure what is the best step for speed. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I use iSCSI for some things, but it's block storage versus Unix, file storage. Might be faster, but I think the use cases are a little bit different. If you're going to be provisioning drives versus just using, network storage, definitely different. But yeah, my iSCSI is kind of okay. I guess I've never really tested my throughput for my iSCSI share, and I have a big iSCSI share. I've one gigantic block of a hard drive for a specific system, but I've never tested it. I should. Slavic Gecko, hey, how's it going? Let's see. Snivy. I'm going with Snivy. Let me grab a drink. Snivy says, I should just read it on the screen. I don't know why I'm looking over here anymore because I have it right in front of me. I'm still going to look over here. Working on redesigning my dev infrastructure entirely. Any tips? Wow. Yeah. So when you say dev, do you mean like your developer infrastructure, or do you mean like your dev environment for your infrastructure? Either way, any tips? If you're redesigning it, yeah, I don't know. This one's tough because I get to dabble in both like enterprise stuff with super high performance stuff, and then as you saw today, I get to dabble in lower power, for the most part, most people would say underpowered and home stuff, And so like I find use cases for most things. It's not usually like I have a use case and then I then I apply something. I'm kind of the other way around. Like most of the things I have or have done, or problems looking for a solution. I found an Intel NUC and I'm like, what can I do with it? Versus like, hey, I have this use case. I want to reduce power, and so I'll use Intel NUCs. I mean, it mostly goes that way. CJ, Aliaga. That's what I'm going. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So Snivy, I don't know. My general advice in general when building out systems is to this is going to be the best non-answer that I have, but it's to not go too underpowered and not be too specific for one specific use case. Try to go general purpose if you can. Hey, dude, CJ, Aliaga. That's what I'm going with. If you pronounce it different, let me know, and I will definitely try to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. But dude, thank you so much. Prime sub, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. So going back, Snivy, if you're going to do general purpose stuff like, hey, I'm going to run whatever Docker containers, I'm going to do this stuff, and you don't have anything very specific, I would say, go with something smaller that you can either scale out, or something mid-size that you can grow into. At first when I built out my HomeLab, I bought a Dell 710, RX 710, and I loaded it up with tons of drives, and I loaded it up with tons of video cards and HBA controllers, and I went down this path where I thought, like, I just need one big system to do it all. And then I ran out of space, either disk space, or ran out of whatever, RAM, or ran out of PCI Express devices. Then I thought, now we need two of these big systems. And like that tipping scale between, one big system and two big system, I think there's a lot of room to say, well, maybe I could go with two smaller systems or two medium systems versus like two big systems. But that does mean that you're going to have to like either sell the thing you have, give it away, donate it, whatever, and maybe redesign it. So anyways, there's so many ways you can go. I would just say, don't overbuy. So many times, a lot of people, including myself, want to future-proof. But sometimes future-proofing isn't just building like or buying the biggest, baddest machine that's out there. Because, you know, there's diminishing returns, or there's costs that's associated with that, either in power or the money that you pay now. So you got to find that sweet spot. I don't know what that is, because I don't know what your workloads look like. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I would say stay as general as you can. Don't go too big. And then if you think about like what your next move would be, like, hey, will I ever go to 2 of these devices? You know, that's where I think you will start to think about, like, okay, like, do I really need, you know, 2 huge beefy servers? And if you're ever thinking about expanding, maybe 2 medium or small would be okay. I don't know. It's tough. Like, without knowing what you plan on doing, it's tough. But and everyone's different. Everyone's different. Hey, Mighty Endeavor, thank you so much. Woo, tier 1, thank you. 2 months, I think 2 month streak. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anyways, that's my best answer. I wish I knew more about your workload, but let's see. Yakto, getting a sandbox set up with a buddy in Canada to test out some multi-region OpenStack deployment. That is awesome. So another sandbox you're getting set up for a buddy in Canada to test out some multi-region OpenStack deployment. That is awesome, man. That is awesome. I know you have a lot of things set up in your OpenStack environment, and you've invited people to, hey, use a VM or use some compute on your system, even me. So I appreciate it, man. That sounds pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And Canadians are so nice. They're so nice. Dude, thanks for the follow. Nonsense sucks. Nonsense sucks. I like it. Nonsense is in the name. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Dude, thank you so much. Grayish soul. I love these names. Grayish soul. I like it. Thank you so much. Prime sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Benny Bynes, Iad Murbarak. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but I assume it's related to Ramadan. And I agree. If you're celebrating Ramadan, thank you. Or enjoy. I think. I don't know the word. I've seen the words, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So I apologize. But Jay, that's just a mention. Let's look through here. Michis. Hi, Tim. Love the new Kate's nut cluster. Thank you. I was thinking about doing the same thing, and I was curious about any bottleneck issues with 1 gigabit NICs. No. Sorry, this happens every stream. Mustache and microphone don't mix, because then, you know, whatever. This comes up a ton. It just came up in Discord. It comes up a lot. So you know, when you see a small device, like, people start to talk about the things that they wish it had, and maybe those things that they wish it had aren't even a real use case, or maybe they just want it to be faster. I mean, we all want things to be faster. I mean, if I looked at someone's car, I would be like, yeah, I wish mine had that, and I wish, you know. Or if I didn't like it, I'd be like, yeah, I don't like it. I wish it had this and this and that. But anyways, people do that with hardware all the time, and it's fantastic. I will say, though, for a normal Kubernetes use case, 1 gigabit is plenty. I think people underestimate how much data you can actually pump through on 1 gigabit. You know, I mean, I know people have some internet speeds that are 1 gigabit, but 99.9% of the time you're using less than 1 megabit. And I would say, you know, very similarly on Kubernetes too. A lot of the time, it's a lot of little chatter going back and forth if you're doing Kubernetes. Obviously, if you scale up and you have an ingress in front of it, and your website blows up, and some influencer posts a link to your site, or you're on the front page of Hacker News, sure, it's going to use a little bit more bandwidth. But at the same time, those are going to be tons of little requests coming in and out. All that aside, I mean, for Kubernetes in general, 1 gigabit is going to be plenty. I mean, unless you're doing something very special, very use case, because at the end of the day, like, Kubernetes, for the most part, most of the world use it for workloads like web services, you know, maybe databases too. That's starting to take off. So a lot of the times, 1 gigabit is going to be plenty. So that aside, I will say that the ones that I have are 2.5 gigabit. And then people will say, like, Yeah, but it's not 10 gigabit. I'm like, okay. I can't remember the last time I used even more than like 10 megabit on my Kubernetes cluster, let alone 1 gigabit, let alone 2.5, let alone 10. I'm not saying there isn't a use case for it. There are probably plenty of use cases. Like if you're using, if those are also storage nodes and you're using, Rancher or whatever, or Longhorn or something else that, needs to synchronize data, in the event that one of the replica goes away, sure, you want that to be fast and you want it to be able to keep up. But at the same time, even on 1 gigabit, which I had for multiple years, and I still have that on my 1U servers, which are running 10 to 20 VMs each, totally fine. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Hey, dude, Randoneering, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Yo. Folding laundry with the wife. Tell the wife I said hello. Kids are playing in the basement. How's everyone doing? Good, man. Good. Good to see you. 5X Prime. I'm just reading things I'm seeing on the screen because I'm using a little bit different tool, but I assume that means 5-month streak. I'll go with that. Thanks, man. Folding laundry with the wife. Man, good. You're a good man. But anyways, long story short, 1 gigabit is going to be plenty for Kubernetes. Now, if you have, if you're worried if you're going to run out of bandwidth, you're probably not going to, unless you're running something where you need more than 1 gigabit. And I will say 2.5 is going to be hard to saturate too. And then 10 gig is for Kubernetes stuff is going to be near impossible unless you're doing something super duper highly specialized. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a lot of web traffic. It's a lot of little chatter. Even if you accumulate all of that together, we're talking less than 10 megabit. So anyways, that aside, the one that I talked about today had 2.5. I will never use, I shouldn't say never because that'll get me in trouble. Rarely can I conceive where I will use that much bandwidth. The only time I could see it happening is, like I said, Longhorn, the storage goes down, it needs to replicate 10 gigs of stuff. Now, instead of taking, a minute and 30 seconds, it might take 30 seconds or vice versa. I can't do the math right now, but yeah, so yeah. But no bottleneck whatsoever. No, like I said, everything that you guys see from me on the public web is running out of my 1U server, and that only has 1 gigabit per second NICs on it. And on top of that, I run a lot of stuff. I get a decent amount of traffic, and not only that, at the same time, I'm doing stuff too. I'm streaming Plex, or other people are watching my Plex, and I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And never once have I been like, man, network seems slow right now. Anyways, I'll get off that train. Worst case scenario, if you think that, hey, 1 gigabit's not enough and it has a Thunderbolt, you could buy an expensive dongle to get 10 gigabit. But I mean, again, that's like a choice you'll have to make. Hey, do I want to sacrifice, this footprint for 10 gig? And if you do, then you might have to get something else with PCI devices. But if you're not willing to sacrifice the footprint, both the energy and the physical footprint, then you have options like, okay, well, I'm gonna end up buying an expensive dongle for it because I need 10 gigs. So yeah, lots of options. Dude, thank you so much. Cena, I'm gonna go with Cena Lipples. This is so hard for me to read. Dude, gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm not looking at the UI where I can see who got the gifted subs, but dude, I'm going with Cena Lipples. I think that's right. Thank you so much. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Enjoy your gifted subs from Cena Lipples if you got one, because I don't have the UI open where I can see it. Oh, I do on this UI. So let's see. Hessman, Nut Freezy, Assassini, Brain PL, and Morenas second. Enjoy your gifted sub from. I'm gonna go with Cinelipples. Oh, I love not being able to pronounce names and just slaughtering them. But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Michis, I hope I answered your question. I know I danced around a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of topics in there, and that comes up a lot. So I'm trying to address it if I can from multiple angles. One sec. Let me turn on the fan. Okay. Sorry, I had to talk to my voice assistant, and I didn't want everyone's voice assistant to like start doing stuff and say, "What? I didn't understand you." Okay, so let's see. Hey, greetings from Norway. Hey, Chris Doyley. See what happens when I can't read names. Hey, how's it going? Franchise migrated from TrueNAS Core to TrueNAS Scale. Have a Plex and Proxmox backup server running in TrueNAS Scale now. Nice. Awesome. So TrueNAS Core to Scale, I've done that and have Plex running and Proxmox. That is awesome. It's funny. My instance of TrueNAS Scale was migrated all the way from FreeNAS to TrueNAS Core to TrueNAS Scale. And in this last upgrade, I finally decided, okay, I'm just going to rebuild the whole thing when I got rid of my disk shelf and I went with my Storinator. But it's pretty awesome how easy they've made it to upgrade and migrate stuff. Pretty cool. But awesome, man. So enjoy Scale. I wonder, Scale, are you going Scale because it is virtualized? Or I don't think so. Because you say Proxmox backup running inside of it. So you flipped it upside down. So you're running that as your hypervisor as well as your NAS. Awesome. Mathney, how's it going? Fellow Norwegian. I like it. Let's see. Mista. I'm just going to Mr. DJ. G'day, Tim. It's been a while since I've caught this live, 6:20 a.m. here in Australia. All right, g'day. That's where I got the g'day. I was going there. Finishing my new Proxmox cluster. I got 2 of those Iraying Chinese boards from Jeffcraft Computing a couple weeks ago with laptop CPUs. Nice. Waiting on my 10 gigabit NIC from them. Need to remove one node from my old cluster and add it to the new cluster without a full reinstall as one GPU pass through, and I really don't want to have to set that up from scratch again. Anyhow, to remove and add a new cluster. Anyhow, how to remove and add to the new cluster? Oh, with Proxmox, it's pretty easy. So Proxmox, I assume you're talking about Proxmox. You probably are. Proxmox, it's not too bad at all. So I would look at their wiki and do it. It gets kind of scary, and they're like, maybe you shouldn't do this. Like, so easy. Adding a new node to a Proxmox cluster is as easy as going in the data center level of your view, going into cluster, then click join cluster, and you'll get this secret, but it's basically, I think, a certificate and a little bit more information along with the URL and IP address. Then you'll go on the other one and you'll say join and you'll paste that in, and it'll be like magic. There are a couple gotchas with that too, with like storage. If you're using ZFS, you need to make sure that all nodes have the same, ZFS pool and name. Anyways, if you're not going to use shared storage. And then to remove one, it's a little bit more challenging. To remove one, I think you got to shut the one down. They recommend like renaming it and doing all this stuff. Then you got to stop CoroSync. Then you got to edit this CoroSync file. I think it's a conf file. Take that node out, and then the other node, and then start CoroSync again. So then all the nodes will replicate that config, and they'll say, hey, I no longer know about this node. At that point, when you shut that old one down, I wouldn't power it back on. At least connected to the network. I would either shut that thing down, wipe the drive, or bring it back on if you need to do stuff, but disable or pull the network cable on it or something like that, because I have had them like try to rejoin before, and it gets a little wild. Because when it comes back up, it still thinks it's part of the cluster, and the cluster really hasn't changed except for everyone in the cluster saying like, hey, I don't know you anymore. So things can get kind of weird. So I would recommend, once you shut that machine down, to then wipe the machine, or at least pull out the NIC and do what you need to do to get it working. But awesome, that is awesome. New system builds. Zero Sand 1Z. I'm trying to get a Coral AI to work with Windows 11 and failing. Nice. So Coral is Google's AI device, which I think a lot of people use for object detection and stuff like that. Basically offload the ML stuff or AI stuff to this chip, because it's a lot better than doing it on a processor, software based. So pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. I've seen them used for Blue Iris, I think, and Frigate, I think, to do object detection. So pretty cool. But I've never seen one in person. And I would say that Windows should be easier to get it working, but who knows? So if you're doing that with Windows, I bet you're doing it with Blue Iris and object detection. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. I'm making a guess. But that's the only reason why I see a lot of people using that device in general. And then most of the time they'll do it on Linux, but you're doing it on Windows, so I'm assuming you're using Blue Iris. So, but awesome. I hope you get it going. Hope you get it going. You should share in Discord when you get this thing going or how it works or what you're doing, because I'm always interested in that. Slavic Gecko, longtime fan, first time stream viewer. Thank you. Welcome here. A little bit out of it today, so this is not the normal. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I should just not say I'm a little bit out of it, and you guys would be like, just a normal, wacky day for him. Starting my own adventure down Ansible this weekend. Saw you had a video, so I have a starting point. Awesome. Yeah. It's I'm a huge fan. I went from knowing nothing about Ansible, absolutely nothing other than watching Gearling's videos, to then automating a lot of my tasks. To now, like everything that I have that's CLI based for my servers as far as maintenance goes and provisioning new machines is all done in Ansible. So it's super fun. And then, I have an Ansible playbook to provision a Kubernetes cluster. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think it's really awesome. There was a point where I got in my home system admin days where I was tired of SSHing into everything and doing the same thing over and over and over. So if you do that, if you're like, I gotta update my 5 servers and just, it's easy. I just SSH into all 5 of them. Then I run, apt update, apt upgrade. Then I reboot them, and then I do this, and then I need to set the time zone. All of those things you need to do, especially like when you right after you provision a machine, if you need to install one tool or basically standardize all your machines, Ansible is the way to go. Like even those nodes back, they are actually sitting back there. I'm going the wrong way. My nut cluster is back there. You can even see my tripod because I was doing some stuff even late last night. But anyways, even those machines, after I provisioned them with mass, then I let Ansible take over. So I have playbooks that are like, hey, here are all my standard things that I do to every Linux node. I'm going to install packages. I'm going to remove packages. I'm going to set time zones. I'm going to, do all my normal stuff, set up, my time server for syncing and all that stuff. And I run that in a playbook. Every time I build a new machine, just run this playbook and then they're standardized. And then I have maintenance tasks, which are, update and upgrade packages and even rebooting, even simple things like rebooting, because I don't want to click buttons. I don't want to go into Proxmox and accidentally shut down the wrong thing. So yeah, it's super, super fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. Benny Bins, any Kate's cloud provider or cloud managed services where they manage the control plane but can orchestrate worker nodes on-prem in a HomeLab environment? Yeah, good question. Sorry, my eyes are like burning. So good question. So your question is, hey, like managed Kubernetes is a thing. It's a thing. Like I use GKE at work. There's EKS and GKE or EK. I don't know. Anyways, there's a lot of cloud, providers out there. They all provide a managed Kubernetes service. And most of the time when you use their managed Kubernetes service, they manage the control plane. What does that mean? They manage the nodes that handle, control plane. So your Kubernetes API, the etcd, however they're managing it, you don't need to worry about it anymore. You just give it to them. I think there's a small fee associated with that. But then you're saying, hey, well, yeah, I want to use them for a control plane, but at the same time, I want to use my own nodes. Yeah, that sounds awesome. That'd be the dream, right? To be able to get a high availability Kubernetes API and cluster from a cloud, but then have, your worker nodes working wherever you want in a different cloud or in this cloud. Maybe. I don't know the answer to that. I will be uncovering the answer to some of that soon, but I don't know. That'd be the dream, because then I could say, like, you know what? Do I really need, 3 or 5 nodes just to run etcd and control plane? Like, hey, let's just build a service mesh between my house and the cloud and have these worker nodes join that cluster. I'll run my workloads here. You manage Kubernetes, and we're good. But I don't know. It's a great answer. I have a feeling no. Because most of the time they want you to then use their IaaS, their infrastructure as a service. So they're like, yeah, we'll give you Kubernetes and we'll manage it for you. We'll give you a control plane for free, but you have to use our IaaS. You have to provision your machines or our machines using that. And to be honest, I'm trying to think about this. I mean, I don't think there's a technical limitation to where you couldn't. Because if you think about it, if you can get to your Kubernetes API somewhere else, you could join that cluster maybe if you wanted, if they gave you a way to join them. Or you could reverse engineer it and figure it out. But I don't know. That's a great question. I'll be uncovering some of that here soon. But yeah, awesome. I mean, that'd be the dream, right? Crack Kitty, hey, how's it going, man? Tim and the Techno Tim team. That's a lot of T's. T. Hello, I worked on the AI object detection settings in Blue Iris. Hey, speaking of the devil, I was just talking about this. Settings got undone due to an update. Oh, bummer. So I was just talking about this. I was just saying, like, hey, so-and-so is using a core device on Windows. They're probably doing object detection for Blue Iris, and it looks like you are doing object detection, whether or not you're offloading it to something else. It's pretty awesome. Not good that your settings got undone after the update. You should get on them. Be like, this is software I pay for. You cannot undo my settings. I don't know what you would say to them. They're super nice folks. I think it's like one guy who manages Blue Iris, and he's been doing it forever. I almost felt bad when I stopped using it because I supported it for a long time. But, dude, I hope you have it figured out, and I hope just undoing your settings isn't like losing some kind of learning that thing also did. I assume it has a model already, so you don't need to worry about that. Or maybe you train the model as you say, like, hey, yes, this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a human being, this is a crack kitty, this is not a crack kitty. But dude, hope it works out. Man, I need to do some more AI and object detection stuff. I've done a little bit. I need to do some more because it sounds super fun. Trevor, I'm curious what tips you would have for cable management in a new cabinet. I'm going with 27U open frame and a 42U cabinet. I think there are a lot better people to answer like cable management stuff than me. Like I kind of rigged mine together because I went from open to close, and I have a 32U now that's closed. It gets tough. Especially when you have a mixed bag of servers that some have cable management arms, some don't. So then you got to get really creative on how you do it. I had to get really creative. I think the only thing that I'm glad that I liked about my cable management are two things. One, I found these little hooks that can screw into any one of your holes on your I don't know what to call them. On your server rack, you have all those holes where you rack and put in the machine screws. There are these little hooks that I found that hold cables awesome, and I intentionally said, hey, left side is power, right side is network. And I did everything I could to say power is always going to be over here, network's always going to be over here. I didn't leave enough slack, so I can pull some of the stuff out. That's my one tip is like, hey, before you go hog wild and get everything, zip tied up and Velcroed up, make sure you can pull the server all the way out or you're going to be undoing a lot of stuff that you did. Or if you really want to get fancy, pull your server all the way out and then do all your cable management. So then you can push it back in the end, and you're guaranteed not to run into the situation I ran into when I did it myself. So it's there's that and Velcro. I Velcroed the heck out of all of my cables, and I did that intentionally too because like I was tired of what I had before, which was like a rat's nest of cables everywhere. So I was intentional with where I ran the cables. I was intentional with buying these little hooks, and if you ping me in Discord, I can send you the hooks. It's actually in my server rack upgrade video. And then I was intentional with Velcro, maybe a little too intentional to where like I bound them together, like lots of Velcro. And that's because like, I mean, as you saw in the video today, it's kind of a mess in the back, but I wanted to like kind of tidy it up the most I could. But right now it's the Wild West back there because I keep testing Pi KVM stuff along with different KVM HDMI switches, and it's like every time I have to do that, I'm like, jeez, I gotta rip out like 4 USBs and put them back in. I'm at the point now where I laid down 4 extra USB B to A and just left them there because I knew I had some more testing to do, especially with Pi KVM 4 coming. So Anyways, I mean, there are people who wire and do data centers in the channel, and they probably have a lot better advice than I do. And they're probably looking at my wiring, and they're like, "What is going on in there?" Black Boggon Networks watching until the UPS trains. Line of T-storms moving through. Oh man, that stinks. Those are nail biters. Nail biters when the power goes out, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I got like 4 more minutes on my UPS." Do I shut my machines down? I've been there, and I've had to actually shut them down before. And it wasn't even due to a storm. It was a couple summers ago. It was due to everyone using their AC and it being like 100 degrees out. And power lines blew up, and I had to start making the decision. What am I going to shut down? I ended up shutting down everything because I knew it wasn't going to get fixed anytime soon. And I wanted to leave, a battery there for charging phones, tablets, whatever, and making sure that my cameras could stay on. So yeah, those decisions are tough to make. You're just like, what am I going to shut down? What am I okay with not having? For me, I was not okay with not having internet and some of my cameras up. So I was like, yep, servers going down. Sorry. Sorry. Jay Greentree, anyone running Ubuntu 23.04 yet? So far, finding it very buggy. Jay Greentree, I haven't. I saw that Lunar Lobster was just released a couple of days ago. I saw that was out. I assume you're meaning desktop, because I typically, for desktop, I'll always go latest. For servers, I always go LTS. For lots of reasons, mostly because compatibility with stuff that I run, and most of the stuff that I run always take a dependency on the LTS. So anyways, I assume you mean desktop. I haven't yet. I need to update 2 of my VMs to it, but I've been kind of lazy because I've been working on other things. I haven't, but they're making tall claims about just gaming performance is a lot better now, and they were really talking up like how much Steam has been downloaded. And then, how they don't know which games are being downloaded, but, Steam in general is downloaded from their Snap repository, and they were really talking that up. So it's interesting. But I haven't. Let's see. No. Looks like I get to automated shutdown of the UDM SE from the UPS. Looks like I get to test automated shutdown from the UDM from the UPS. Automated shutdown. Yeah. How do you do that? So you're saying that you can automatically shut down your UDM Pro when it detects that it's, there's not a lot of power left, which is awesome because UDM Pro runs not to get it probably doesn't even matter, but they're running a Mongo database. I've shut it down and pulled the power before, and it totally corrupted that whole database. And it's like, yep, got to redo my thing because I lost power and, it didn't shut down cleanly. Meanwhile, I can, unplug and plug in my Windows PC with a bajillion things running, even my servers, and it's totally fine. But my UDM, I did corrupt the database once by doing that. I'm interested to know, can you have that automatically shut down based on some outside factor? Let me know, because I would love to do that too. Because that's the scariest thing for me, for that to have happen again is, hey, I lost power and then everything's down. And the moment everything comes back on, I think I'm in the clear, but nope, I got to rebuild my whole UDM, which happened to me once before. I mean, it's a long time ago, but some wounds never heal. All right, guys. Hey, it's 4:20, and that means it's that means a lot of things. But for me, that means, hey, I got to wrap it up. I started a little bit late today, and I'm ending a little bit later than late today. But yeah. So, anyways, hey, man, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much. There was lots of follows. There was lots of subs, resubs, gifted subs, and there were bits too. So I really appreciate it. But most of all, I just appreciate you being here and talking in the channel. It's not every day that I get to totally geek out on tech like this that I'm interested in, because at work they're probably like, dude, we don't have servers at home. There are a few people who do, and we nerd out every now and then. I'm like, whoo, where's the time going? But anyways, I really appreciate you being here. I look forward to this time every week, no matter how tired I am or how beat up I am. I look forward to this time because I get to talk with all of you about things that I don't normally get to talk to other people about. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate this time every Saturday. And I appreciate you being here. If you have other questions, if I didn't answer something properly or you want to tell me I'm wrong, you can absolutely do that. We have a Discord server we're really close to 9,000 people. I would love for you to join. It's super low ping, super nice people that want to help, people that have ideas, who talk about things they're doing, things they're struggling with, or even things on sale or new awesome stuff. There's so much activity in there. I love it. I know that every time I go into any one of the channels, I'm gonna learn or empathize with someone who's having a similar problem. So anyways, I'd love for you to join, but if not, hey, that's fine too. You can find me on Twitter and you can ping me there if you need to. So anyways, have a great rest of the Saturday. I hope you get your projects done, and even if you don't, hey, it's okay. It's the weekend. So have a great rest of the weekend and be good to each other. Take care, folks.